guys, I'm George. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I'm here in Battersea Park. It's a really beautiful day. The sun's out, blue sky. I've painted here so many times, so I'm always looking to find parts of the park that I haven't painted before. And this is one of those spots.
It's a warm afternoon in Battersea Park, and I really like this spot just off the path where the dappled light shimmers gently through the trees. And the sky's blue without a cloud in it, and there's this gentle summer breeze which is ideal for plein air painting. There's also that hum of summer in the air, children laughing, families and couples relaxing in the sun and making the most of this pleasant summer weather, which is never guaranteed here in England. So I really couldn't ask for better conditions to set up and paint. I start with a loose block in using raw umber mixed with a bit of my ultramarine blue, thinned down with a bit of solvent to sketch out the key shapes, the trunks of the trees, the sweep of the path leading the viewer into the scene, and the bench on the left hand side. Here I'm massing in the darkest darks in the painting, starting with this shadow under the tree. I'm using a colour mix of raw umber, ultramarine blue, and a small touch of alizarin crimson and permanent green. And for the path I'm going to use a similar colour mix, but this is going to be slightly more blue in hue with a bit more alizarin crimson as well. And I'm also going to use this dark greener colour mix for the darks in the trees higher up on the painting as well. I'm not chasing details at this stage, I'm more interested in the placement and proportions of the major shapes. On my palette I've got titanium white, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, raw umber, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, permanent green, cerulean blue and ultramarine blue. So this is a reliable and flexible set that I use for pretty much any painting I do, as this variety of colours allows me to mix pretty much any colour that I need when painting a landscape or even a portrait. To paint the trees, I start by thinly applying the various colour mixes that I've made on my palette for this section of my painting. This thin wash of colour allows me to quickly cover this relatively large section of the painting, taking it closer to what I see in nature, and as a result it's easier for me to analyse my colour mixes against nature, as the closer my painting becomes to the scene that I'm looking at, the clearer any mistakes will appear, and therefore this allows me to make this analysis before committing with thicker paint. However, I do intend to keep some of the paint application quite thin in some areas, as the thin paint creates a vibrancy that can only be achieved this way, as by spreading the paint thinly it allows the light underground to shine through, lighting the paint without having to add white as a result, as adding white would dull the colour mix, and I find it helpful to think of white as a light grey and to use it with caution. So there were a few factors which drew me to this scene: the sunlight shining through the trees, the play of the soft lilac blossoms against the deeper greens, the path leading the viewer's eyes into the painting from the foreground through to the trees in the background, also the light falling across this bench on the left where I will paint some figures, and also the fact that this is one of the few spots in Battersea Park that I haven't painted yet. really pushing for contrast in the colour temperature between the sections of leaves in light, which have a warm, vibrant yellow hue, that I've mixed using mostly cadmium yellow with a touch of permanent green, yellow ochre, and some titanium white. And for the sections of leaves in shadow, I paint with a darker, cooler colour mix, consisting mostly of ultramarine blue, with a touch of raw umber, alizarin crimson, permanent green, and some titanium white, but only for the trees in the distance in order to help them recede and give the scene a bit more depth. One of the joys of painting outdoors is chance encounters, and a couple sat down on this bench and I've now painted them into the scene. I felt they contributed positively to my composition, and adding figures adds life to the painting, and it also adds a bit of a narrative as well as scale to the other elements in the scene. And even small gestures, how one leg crosses over the other, the tilt of the head, can suggest so much more about a moment. I've used titanium white, cadmium red, yellow ochre, and a small touch of permanent green for the light skin tones, and alizarin crimson, cadmium red, and raw umber for the shadows. And the couple really liked the way that they were depicted in the painting, and they actually ended up buying the painting at the end of the session. So if that's not a good reason to paint figures into your plein air paintings, I'm not sure what else to say. In the background, I layer the lilac tree with soft scumbles of violet grey, mostly a mix of alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, titanium white, and a small touch of yellow ochre. Also, the ground that I'm working on had quite a similar value and hue to this sort of light violet of the blossoms, so I'm keeping the paint quite thin and letting this ground shine through. I am adding a few bolder brushstrokes for the lightest highlights, which are shimmering in the sunlight. To paint the sky, I've used a colour mix of ultramarine blue, cerulean blue, and titanium white. Painting outdoors always reminds me that it's not just about what you see, but what you notice and what you connect with. And what you choose to leave out is just as important as what you decide to put in.
Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video of me painting here in Battersea Park on this really sunny day. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it because it really helps out the channel.
So here I'm using my Alla Prima art carrier to pack up and carry my wet painting safely. And this is actually my own design, my own invention. And if you're interested in getting one to carry your wet paintings, then I put a link in the description to the website and our Etsy shop.